The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. It's Nikki Glaser Podcast. Welcome to the show. I'm in St. Louis with my dogs, DAWGS. Actually, my dogs, DOGS, and my dog,
Big
Taylor,
dog.
is here.
Big Daddy
Taylor
Tay
McGraw, welcome to the show.
Thank
in
you.
studio with me.
Thank you.
She was over here organizing she was unpacking for me after my 2 months gone.
It's only
You
2
got-
months.
That was 2 months.
Seems so long.
How many
So long.
luggages? How
There
many
was
luggages?
3 bags, 3, and then half of another one, so 3.5.
3.5 bags.
Yeah, a
Oh,
lot.
that's not bad.
She had a lot to sift through. And there's another shipment coming because the thing that I was filming, I got to keep all of the dresses
Oh,
from
shit.
for the first time of filming this show. Yeah, I've been doing this show for many a moons, and
Wow.
they never let me keep anything. And this time I got to keep everything.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so I have lots of dresses to wear to weddings,
Nice.
mostly.
And tour.
Strip
tour.
clubs.
Yeah, I'm going to wear stuff on tour. I'm very excited. But it's nothing I can wear in my normal life.
Right.
Because I just can't dress like the way I wish I could dress. Oh, Anya and Brian and Noah are all here
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Like I
these
just wish I could
fuckers.
wear like a linen like dress like a girl in Beverly Hills that just wears like a long linen dress and like some fresh sneakers and like just a simple necklace. Like if I put that on, I'd feel like I was doing cosplay or something.
Weird.
I have to. I always picture like the people. Like I always picture my. I almost said sister-in-law, but if I marry Chris, she will be. She's Chris's brother's wife, and she always dresses so impeccably. Even when she's wearing like Lululemon, like she could wear something that I'm wearing, but it just looks like nice on her. Like she just wears things and it all fits nicely.
She's not
and it
stained.
looks clean. No, she is.
Stained person.
Yeah, she's not. I thought she's not sane. I thought you said she's not sane. I was like, no, she's very sane. She's not stained. Like I was picturing, I was like, if she dressed like me, if she was wearing
Look at
this
me, I'm stained already.
outfit, what would it look like on her? And it would just look different. I just carry things differently, I think.
You have a
You're
new
graceful,
thing,
though.
though. You don't know, like, you have changed. I've known you for a decade or more now, and there are so many days that I just look at you and I'm like, God, she is the it girl, and she has no idea.
Yeah.
Like, and I can't even tell you because
You're
I've
like a
been forbidden.
prize.
It girl, because my hair looks like
no.
it, cousin it.
No, you just have like, you don't even realize it sometimes where you're just like, you throw something on. I'm like, how did she do that? Like there was this one day on the European tour where you just like showed up like fucking pissed. I'm so annoyed. Like grumbling in the green room. And I was just like, look at this bitch and her pleather, cool black shorts, like some weird, cute crop top jacket. This
Oh, no,
cute
that was all
fucking
lent to me. I hated that.
It doesn't matter.
It was
You
all
look
lent to me.
so
I didn't pick it
cool.
out. But
It doesn't
when I'm
matter.
left to my own devices, I should not be left to my own devices. I wear Taylor Swift shirts that don't fit, and then I put on shorts that are also really old from Old Navy. Like all of my clothes are old.
Yes.
But
I get
they
so-
look good on you. You have like the grace of a prized pony.
That's so
You like
funny.
stride. When you stride, like I'm first of all, I'm hunchback cashew. But every time I see you, you stride into a room and your clothes just like hang off you.
That's really
You're
nice.
like a mantis
Well,
with sexy clothes.
I didn't
on.
mean for this to be like, give me compliments, but it does feel really good. Thank you so much.
Taylor McGraw calling you a mantis is such a high compliment.
I do
hugged
look like
her
a mantis.
earlier, and she felt like a delicate, beautiful.
You said I was
mantis with
tiny
an
as soon as you saw me, and I was like,
exoskeleton.
is she just saying this because she knows on the girls' chat that I was crying about being fat the
I
other
haven't
day?
been on it.
Really?
I was telling them I'm kicked off.
Oh, well, that actually makes everything
I
better
keep
because I go,
trying.
oh my God, she just like, I rounded the corner and she immediately was like, you are little or something. And I was like, oh God, she's just like saying exactly what I want to hear because
I
she
have
knows
been
I was
on it.
sobbing about things I saw in a dressing room the other day. I'm not kidding you. This is my thought I had
in
that
a
I think is
mirror?
actually really funny.
In a mirror.
I know this is really grim, but it's really funny to me. I just saw Joe List's special, so maybe it's getting in my head. Joe List has a joke at a special where he's like, sometimes he sees a picture of himself and he's like, I should just kill myself to like for the betterment of society. Like I'm so disgusting looking. And I really related to that. And for some reason, Joe can say that and everyone laughs and doesn't go, no, Joe, you're beautiful. But when a woman says that, everyone has to go, no, Nikki, you're beautiful. And let me just say what I'm about to say. Trigger warning. I'm a skinny woman talking about feeling fat, okay? I am aware that I am a thinner woman and that I have thin privilege and that I am talking about how I perceive my body. It does not mean that if I see you at a meet and greet and you're bigger than me, I'm going to be like, she's disgusting and doesn't deserve to live. This is a me thing. It's the way we see ourselves is different than the way we see others. And I know I said last week on the show that my mom, the way she talked about her body would make me really upset because my mom was so much tinier than me, yet she would say she was big. And then I would be like, well, what do you think about me? So I know I'm being a hypocrite in saying that right now, but I will just say I struggled. Last week I went into a dressing room like knowing I'm bigger, like I was fine with it. Like I know I'm bigger than I was 6 months ago. Like I just know the pants aren't fitting the same way. I accept it. I'm fine with it. I just filmed a bunch of shit and I was like trying to get into, I was wanting to be a lot thinner than I was for all this, but I wasn't, and it's fine. And it's just the way it is. And I accepted it. And I really felt ready to go in a dressing room, even though I never go in dressing rooms ever. I always buy things at the store and I take them home and then I cry there. And like all that Abercrombie stuff that I had you return, I bought that online. It's all doesn't fit me. I can't even get it past my neck. Like some of the things won't even go on my body.
Abercrombie's for children though.
But
I think, no, actually a lot of that I saw it was from Abercrombie children.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. There were a couple of things that were Abercrombie kids. And I was like, what?
No way. Okay, that makes me feel better then.
Shout out to my ex-boyfriend from 2002 who tried to only dress me in Abercrombie kids.
Oh, baby.
What? Really?
Yes. He would always be like, let's go to this store. It's so fun. I was 20.
It makes sense to get like size medium or large. Well,
yeah,
for Anya, size
you
small.
Are like Anya has sometimes, if you're on your lower end of your weight,
he
you could probably wear
wanted me in a
kids.
red t-shirt for a 10-year-old with a dog on it. I will show you the photo. It's
he wanted you Delia's
like he really wanted me Delia's.
No, Delia's was, I want to say that Delia's was not sexy. And that's what I kind of like about it. Delia's wasn't sexy.
Tomboyish.
It was making girls feel like empowered about being like a little tomboyish. And I was remembering Delia's because my friends and I were talking about it. And one of them said like it was like, or I think I said I was like they were like sexy babies, and they're like no, they weren't. They weren't wearing. There was no cleavage. There was no cropped. There was no tummies hanging out. It was like
they were
all like skater
girls.
cool girl.
They were cashew on purpose. They always had like a
cashew on purpose,
like a hard side lean, or they'd be like.
Yeah, they were always like screaming or like kicking their legs.
Like Avril.
Yeah, they were so cool.
They were jumping a lot.
Yes. And they were always just like leaning against a wall, like kind of being like, I don't care, like chewing bubble gum.
Like
they were like loitering, constantly loitering at a mall.
They were about to get picked up by the cats.
So I went into this dressing room at a store called And Other Stories, which by the way, I needed to return something to it.
If it starts with "and," you know
it's not "and,"
you shouldn't go
ampersand.
Oh
like
my God.
you know, like and. So Chris, we were going there the other day, and he was like, "Where are we going?" And he put it in the ways, and I go, "It's called And Other Stories. It's ampersand Other Stories." So he, when we got there, he goes, "I typed in ampersand." He thought it was called ampersand Other Stories.
I would like that better.
So I went to And Other Stories to return something. I was there months ago in Beverly Hills getting my hair done, and I just was really cold. So I went into And Other Stories just to get a fucking sweater for dinner. And I picked up a couple other things. They were all like yippee skippy high people don't know what that means. But when we were kids and there would be like pants that were too like short, and they looked like flooded, you know, like they were just flooding. Kirsten and I think you, we would call them Yippee Skippy Kippy Egan. Because my parents have a friend named Kip Egan. And so we were like, I don't know how we got to call them Yippee Skippy Kippy Egan. But anyway, so they were Yippee Skippy. And so I had to return them. I went there the other day with Chris to return them. And they gave me a store credit because I didn't have the receipt. I go, can you just scan my credit card and like find it in the system? Which every store has been able to do that since the 90s. But they go, sorry, we only do physical receipts. And I go, oh no, she goes, no, we can't look it up from your credit card. I go, oh, well, I'll just look it up. You probably emailed it to me. And they go, we only do physical receipts. And I go, isn't that convenient? And I said it sarcastically. And she goes, I know, right? Like she was like, thought I was being helpful, but I was being sarcastic. Not to her to be like, I wasn't being rude, but I was like, well, isn't that convenient? Like, for the corporation, not
other
her.
stories I want to tell.
What do you think is the reasoning behind this name and other stories? What are they going for there?
I think it's just
whimsical.
Whimsy.
One time I was at Rag and Bone and I bought an outfit and the guy helping me goes, I love this. This tells a story. So maybe it's like accessory, and other stories.
Tell the story about Rag and Bone, because that's not whimsical. That's dark.
Rag.
It's like what is found on a corpse.
Rag,
and a bone, and blood. Bone.
It is the worst name.
Yeah,
but you know that they chose that name to be
It's
Yeah.
They were like,
They
it's
are
like when you call something, like they called a restaurant egg slut.
Oh yeah, egg slut.
Or they call it like dirty water for like a bar. So like just names that are like challenging you to like
challenged,
them.
Yeah.
Rag and Bone is definitely one of those.
Yeah, but and other stories reminds me of like Things Remembered. Remember that store from the mall, Things Remembered?
Yes.
It's not like egg slut.
Totally.
It's not like these
Lockets.
provocative, like, ooh, I have to look at that now because what is that? It's like just a bullshit name.
Yes, totally.
It's fairy tale
and it's
whimsy.
like the font is like written like it's like scribbled quickly.
Yeah.
Oh my
like
God.
Like they didn't even
Dot,
spend
dot.
time on that. Like they just were like, let me get my grandmother to like just write this, and then that's gonna be that's gonna be the end other story I tell about this business.
This is
So
what
then-
happens when we tell everyone they can be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Well, and
My
Other Stories
daddy's
has some
cheesecake.
decent stuff, I have to say. I do like the store, but I don't like, so I went into the fitting room. I was like, okay, I'll just use the store credit I got. And I was like, I'll just spend it now. I like when you get store credit, it's just a gift certificate that you get from yourself. It feels like free money, but it's from, it's
I
my
spend
money.
it immediately though. I can't hold
I
on
did
to
too.
it.
Because Chris
I'm
was like, you can just get some stuff online. And I was like, I will lose this card. I'm spending it now. So he went up the street to James Purse and I
All right.
stayed there. And I was like, I'm just going to try on some stuff. I never try on stuff. But I was also like, I'm not going to return this if I don't try it on.
Because
I
you
have
won't
to
get money.
Yeah, I won't get money. And Taylor will have to like track down the return address. It will just be, it'll be hell. So I was like, I'll try it on. I grabbed 2 pairs of jeans, one in the size that I don't want to be and one in the size I do want to be. You know, we all have those sizes. The one that we used to be in and the one that we're going to get back to and the one that we're probably in and we don't want to be. And guess what? I tried on. I grabbed the one that I used to be and I go, I'll put these on first. And they're like, they're pretty snug, but I'm like, they're all like, they are not acceptable and I will not ever be seen wearing them, but I'm spilling
They
over
went
them.
on.
And I had to go I had to do a yippee skippy dance where I'm like pushing my legs out to get them on. It was a struggle. It was embarrassing. And then I go, well, that's fine because these are the old ones. These are my old size, the young Nikki. And then I took them off and I grabbed the other ones and I realized they were actually the ones that were supposed to be too big and they were so so then I go, I will be damned if I don't try on these tinier ones and just see where I'm at. And I tried on the tinier ones and they were more of a struggle, but not that more of a struggle. So then that made me question all the sizing altogether.
It's all
They were actually
different.
longer than the other ones that were a bigger size. So anyway, but then as I was taking them off and I was feeling okay about that, I'm just like, okay, so I'm bigger than I thought I was, but I'm still like, I don't look in the mirror and like despise myself. But that was until I saw a different mirror. And it was a mirror behind me.
Oh no.
That was showing. And this reminds me of a David Spade joke where he catches a glimpse of himself in a dressing room mirror and he sees the side of himself and he's like, you ever see the side of yourself? And you're like, well, no one can ever see that again. So he goes to the bar that night and he only meets women and he walks like a crab so that they can never see him from the
That's
side.
what I do.
And
That's my favorite joke.
it's so funny. And it reminded me of that. But I saw in that mirror the ass of a woman. I don't know this woman. I would never recognize in a lineup the ass that I saw. I just was like, I have to do everything I can to keep Chris because no one will ever
Okay.
love me again. I know he's seen this because I've been walking around nude. I'm not going to let him see it anymore. I thought it looked way better back there.
He didn't see it in like bright, hellish lights and like
Yes, he
a
has.
box with like a bad color.
No, I have a ring
Like-
light next to our bed that's on fluorescent mode. Everyone can say the
facing.
lighting, everyone can say the mirrors, everyone can say that whatever it is. The fact of the matter is, it wasn't about the lighting. It was the shape and the it wasn't the skin tone or the cellulite, although that was a problem. But I don't mind the sagginess and the skin tone because I know that is lighting, and I know that I can't help that. It was the size and the shape. It was that movie called The Shape and the something. It was that movie
and other stories.
And other stories. And
About
so
my ass.
I was so depressed
Wait, was it
when I left
bigger
there.
than you thought?
Much bigger.
Like wider?
Like a
I don't
library, like
understand
Mrs.
how.
Stifler's
Your
ass
butt is
from
a little
third grade.
tiny
It
peach.
was
I've seen it.
It's going
Recently.
it's going wide. This is in
go
70K
wide.
widescreen.
That shit's
It's what
go
you should
wide.
see Oppenheimer on my ass. It is it's branching out. It's really finding itself. But it's just going it's getting to
gonna
be
open its own store
an
called
old woman's ass.
And more.
And then I saw Chris and I just looked shell shocked and I was like, I can't really function right now. Like I'm not going to be, I need to cry and there's nowhere to cry in Beverly Hills. That
Why
sounds
not
like
in
a
the dressing room? That's what
album
I've done.
title.
Just
Because
get it out.
they needed that dressing room. There was like a long
Oh, a
line.
line.
And so I didn't want to be in there anymore. I was,
And other bitches in line to cry.
so I just bought my shirts, my big shirts, and Chris was like, "What'd you get?" And I go, "A bunch of shirts for fat girls." I was being such a bitch, and not that there's anything wrong with being a fat girl. And I was like, I think that's what's going on. I was like, a bunch of shirts that are like oversized skater girl shirts, like giant shirts
Delia's.
that Delia's. And I was like, I can't buy any bottoms anymore. That's just not my life right now. And we went into a store with him and he was like, so what do you think about this? And I was like, I'm right now catatonic mode. Like I can't think about anything else but my body. I'm obsessed right now. We have to go see Oppenheimer in an hour. I'm so glad we're going to see Oppenheimer because I need to get this out of my head. Like, do you ever
And
feel
onto
that
my
way?
ass.
Like where you see, yeah.
Out of my head.
Do you ever see
ass.
why do we obsess over our bodies like this? Like I was
It's the
totally
worst.
happy before this. I went to lunch. We went to go to a shelter to look at dogs. I was having a great day. And then I went and looked in a mirror and my day was hijacked. September 11th, shout out. Oh my God. I don't know why I keep doing shout outs to 9/11. I don't mean that. Yesterday I did a 9/11 shout out. But my brain was hijacked and I was like, this is the sickness. It's not even about what's going on in my body. It's about what's going on in my head.
I have
right
a theory.
now.
We're human beings, but we're probably not supposed, like we are spiritual. This is probably just evidence that we really do have a spirit because it's like this cognitive dissonance when we see our body. We're like, that's not me, but it is you. And it keeps changing. So it's probably just it's traumatic. We've all had this moment. I'm sure men even have it, right, Brian? Where you're just like, ugh, that's
Spade
me.
did.
Like
Yeah.
it could be about your hands. It could be about
When
your
they
butt.
look at their
Chris
ear
said he had
hair.
it too when I showed him a video of himself at the Porsche
Yeah.
thing. He was like, you showed me a video the other day that I was a little bit shook by seeing that angle of myself. So yeah, it happens to men. Brian,
I've never
Thoughts?
Yeah, of course. I've never actually seen myself in a mirror, so I'm looking right now to find out. And yeah, I'm horrified
Your
actually.
good mirror.
I always get
I don't
obsessed
look
with
at
the fact that
mirrors.
people I just all of a sudden get really embarrassed. It's almost like if you listen to our secret podcast that we did for big money players,
Oh, yeah.
what are they called? The power players or
Shout out 9/11.
Diamond, yeah, shout out 9/11. Diamond Players Network, you get a free episode. And if you listen to that one, you'll hear about a really embarrassing moment of my life. And it was almost like that, what's embarrassing about when you're embarrassed, it's because other people witness it, right? Like if you trip and fall in your own home, you're not like, what an embarrassment. You're just like, oh, that sucks, But embarrassment relies on other people witnessing it. So for me, it was like, I can't believe I've been walking around like this thinking I'm thin.
That's what I
with
think
thin
all the
person
time.
confidence. And everyone's knows that this is not the way. And by the way, please don't write to me and say, Nikki, this is all true. It can be triggering to you. I know it's triggering to some people. This triggers me sometimes when thin people talk about feeling fat. I promise you, this is my own issue. I don't think you're fat. I think fat is beautiful. I don't think it's a problem. I have a lot of, trauma from the growing up in the 90s and early 2000s when we all thought Britney Spears of the VMAs was fat, like these kind of things where it's like, I'm just I need to rewire my brain. I'm just sharing my truth and it has nothing to do with you. And I'm sorry if it hurts anyone's feelings that I'm saying this. I love all of you. I don't think if you're fat, that means you're wrong or anything. And I don't know why I think I'm wrong if I'm fat for some reason, but that's just the way it is. So please don't take this personally. I love you all. And we have to go to break, but I want to hear your thoughts about how you guys get through this because I was able to get through it and I want to hear what you guys do. All right, we'll talk about that when we get right back after this. All right, we're back. What do you guys do when you have been like overwhelmingly depressed about something, whether it's like, whether it's a physical thing you see about yourself, whether it's something some critique you get back on your work, or like you just realize all of a sudden like what you thought was not what it seems. You get cheated on, like where your reality is like not what you thought it was. What do you do?
I enter into a fugue state where I endlessly work to try to change what happened. That's not a healthy way to respond.
It's useful,
But
I think it's
sometimes it is for work and stuff. If I get like bad notes on a script or something, then I will sit in a chair for 2 straight weeks trying to learn why I was inadequate and fix it. And then usually I come
your
out.
ass gets flat from sitting in that
Yes.
chair. And then you gotta fix that.
gets wide, getting wide.
Usually I come out on the other side with something better. Same thing happened when I got cheated on. You know, I decided, well, I went and tried to figure out why, which that doesn't work. But then I went on a million dates. And that's I usually for some reason falsely believe that I have the power to change my position. And sometimes that's wrong. And you're just punching a wall or hitting your head against a wall that will never give. And sometimes it works and you actually do mold the universe into how you want it. But most of the time,
That's not a bad idea. Well, I was talking to Chris last night about we were talking about sports. We'll get into that in a second. We were watching football and he was kind of reliving his like days of when he was a budding athlete, and he wishes he would have worked harder at football in high school and trained off the field and outside of practices to become even better. But he said something to me that it really resonated with me, which is, when you're young, you don't think that hard work is going to change anything. You know about hard work, you hear about it, but you kind of just feel, and we talked about this before, that you either got it or you don't. And that hard work, like when you're in high school, you're just like, I don't know, I'm not going to like persevere past this
It seems
block.
impossible.
Yeah, you
to
need
me.
like a really mean father to push you to do that, or like a coach. You know what I mean? Like you can't do it on your own, but like I think as adults, I just have a better idea of that now, that I can do anything except, be president or fly. But like I can do or understand football. I can or understand the what is going on in the movie The Big Short. We'll also get to that in a second. I can do pretty much anything if I try hard enough. And I think that is exactly what I decided to do about this. I was like, okay, my body is not what I want it to be right now. What can I do? And so I'm like, okay, without like killing myself, I'm just being more mindful, and I'm just like being more disciplined, I guess is the word. And like feeling like I'm gonna and now that I live with Chris, it's kind of nice, because before, when I would like eat better or get on an exercise regimen, there's like no one to see it. You know, and like I do everything for someone going like, you're actually doing good. Like I don't do everything for that, but like it really helps to have someone go, wow, you're like putting in the work. Yeah. You're actually doing it. And so I think it helps to live with someone for that regard. And it's been one day of doing things extra.
But isn't also that why people post Instagram stories of like, look at me, I'm working out. Oh, here, I lost this weight. It helps. And then people don't hate you as much if you just show up with a glow up.
Yeah, I don't mind if you post stuff about working out. I've been clear about this before. But don't pretend like you're trying to motivate me with that shit.
No.
Yeah,
Right.
it's none
That's
of
where
my
I call
business.
bullshit. If you can say, hey, I want to post this because I'm proud of myself, go for it.
Yeah.
That's the reason. That's why you're doing it anyway. I'm proud of myself. I want attention for this.
Yes.
But don't try to trick me into being like, you can do this too. You don't want me to do it because
It's
you
none of
are
your
trying to be hotter than me. And you don't want me doing that too.
You post
maybe
you do videos
1% of
on
people
the
do.
Nikki Glaser podcast Instagram of you playing guitar because you want to improve playing in front of people, and then that's a good way to do it. I kind of want to do that too with piano, but I haven't yet built up the courage.
Go live. You can go live on Nikki Glaser Pod anytime you want to practice your instrument. It's that's a safe space to go. You can always go in there because it's always people that are going to be encouraging. They know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
That's what I do sometimes. In case you didn't know, on the Nikki Glaser Pod Instagram, I go live and I just play guitar and sing, and I say countless times, I don't think I'm good. This isn't for entertainment. This is for you to be witness to me practicing, because it's the only way I can ever practice is if someone is like,
you need witness to struggle.
And people have been encouraged to pick up guitar or pick up singing or do something that they didn't, that they think they're too old to do. So I have encouraged people. Is that why I'm doing it? No, it's not, because I'm being honest with you. I'm not about, like, there are some things in my life that I do that are meant to like help others and make it so girls have an easier time in life and young boys. I think my stand-up is more motivated by like, I want people to have information that I didn't have back then. But am I playing guitar to inspire others? Fuck no. I'm doing it so I can get good.
I like this thing you're bringing up. It's really like activating my brain a lot about like, what do you guys do when you're traumatized? How do you make it through? Because I think that helps people too. Just to hear that other people, even successful celebrities, can have these. Like, I would love to hear Emily Ratajkowski talk about, like, has she had a dressing room moment? I had this, and I'm a very, very thin woman. I had this a year ago. I remember the day. I was in Baja, California, in a hotel, with different lighting, bright sun.
You were to Baja Fresh bathroom.
On your break.
Yeah.
It's been after refilling the salsa bar.
But the light caught I was in a bikini, and the light caught me, and I was in a new room. I was just like, what? This cannot be right. And it was a huge mirror, and the sun, it was like morning, bright sun. And I just couldn't believe my eyes. It was cellulite from my everywhere, like all over my stomach, all the way down my leg. And I was just kind of marveling at first, like, wow, this is incredible. And then the breeze started going, and like, there was like
a breeze in the dressing room.
I was in my hotel room, and then I started like moving my skin around, and I was shocked at the lack of muscle tone. And I was just like, my leg is flapping in the wind like a flag. And I was so triggered. It really looked like that. It looked like just fabric.
I'm never looking in a mirror ever again if you guys feel this way.
Do you want to know my process, though?
What did you do?
Yeah.
So
did you fold it up and give it to a fallen soldier and family?
I never let it touch the ground. I did what I would. Okay, here's how I've grown. Because in the past, I would just like skip right to action. Like, what do I do to fix this? But what I think is really helpful is like, sit with the feelings. Do not take a shortcut around to action, because action should be like step 3. The first thing I did was just be like, wow, okay, I'm just going to sit with all the feelings I'm having. Anything it can be, like, this is disgusting. I don't accept myself. I can't believe I'm aging this way. Holy shit. And then like, the most important thing for me to realize is my eyes are not accurately seeing shit. Also, this is a 2-dimensional thing. This is not in 4 dimensions. So whatever I'm seeing right now is actually not totally
3D, baby.
But maybe 3D. I don't know what D, but we know nothing. But it's not accurate. I cannot be a good, tried and true, trusted resource.
How true is that? Because anytime I see my friends think they look like shit, I mean, there's sometimes where I go, you're kind of spot on. There's sometimes where you just go, I can see what you're saying. But I would say 90% of the time, I don't see what they're talking about. And not in a way that's like, I love you and I only see you in a beautiful way. I truly can't grasp what they're fucking saying.
I think y'all are fully and completely tripping all the time. I'm like,
we is. Anya, you have a good point. Like, your eyes are fucking... we just see ourselves so differently.
Well, that's the other thing is that your eye, like, you are in your own head, and so you don't get to see yourself like everyone else in the world sees you.
No.
And then to double down on that, when you look into a mirror, it's a reflection of you. It's not even what people see in real life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so you have
weird.
to, like in cognitive behavioral therapy, they do this. You guys know all about this. You work through stuff. You say you're feeling. You rate the feeling. Then you like what percent of this feeling is accurate and true, and then you list all the facts. And then what percent is not true, and then list all the evidence there. And then you have more balanced thoughts. So I try to get to a more balanced place in this triggered state of like, I am disgusting. This is an emergency. And then
that was what was happening to me. I was code red.
Yeah.
I was, but this is the thought that I had that was
DEFCON
funny that I want to share that I promise you is not how I really feel, but was in the moment. I wanted to kill myself. Okay. I wanted to jump off a bridge. Not really, because that's not how I would go if I ever did it. I said on Andrew Tantino's podcast recently, I was like, I have suicidal thoughts. We were talking about it because that's what I talk about on every podcast that I guest on. And he goes, how would you do it? And I go, I don't want to ruin the surprise. And people said, I was really sad for you until you said that. It made me laugh. So, but I would never jump off a bridge. But there was like something in me that was just like, I need to end this right now. And then I go, but I don't want to, because then someone has to do an autopsy and they'll see me naked. And I was going to be embarrassed in front of like a hot coroner. I really was. I was like picturing them like lifting up the thing and being like, yuck. But like being like,
your ass is
there's
flat.
severe dimpling on her ass.
So like they'll think
maybe it's from the gravel
flat from hitting the grass. So you're
yes.
actually off the hook.
You got to put that in your
Or
suicide
off the
note that
bridge.
you request an ugly coroner.
And be like, my
Yes.
ass was
There are
no
very
hot
luscious
coroners.
before I jumped.
Really? I recently watched on Theo's podcast. It's so interesting. He interviewed a coroner. And that's why that word is
That
in
guy
my
was not hot.
lexicon. He wasn't hot, but he was cool. There was like a hotness to him because he was like so empathetic and like sweet. Did you watch it, Noah? Or like
I
see a
saw
clip
it.
or anything?
Yeah. I saw
It
clips
was
of
really good. That was a really interesting thing. I forget what I gleaned from it, but I just.
I wanted to share an interesting fact.
Oh yeah, about death.
I went out with my girlfriend Paloma yesterday, and she's doing a program to become a death doula or like a death midwife.
Wow.
And this program that she's going through encourages people to not go through the embalming process.
Mm-hmm.
And she was telling me how, like, before the Civil War, every household had a death room where you would hold funerals and where you would keep the dead.
Mm-hmm.
And after the Civil War, when all, like the soldiers were getting killed, the families wanted to bury the bodies in their home state or whatever, and it took a while to transport. That's when they started doing embalming. Also, embalming is not a law; it's just a suggestion right now.
What is it? Covering you with wax?
It's like formaldehyde, right?
It's formaldehyde.
Oh.
in your
It's
veins.
injecting.
Such an idiot.
You thought they were like,
It's a shellac.
I thought they just covered you with
paint you.
wax. Why does embalming sound like waxing?
because it's a balm.
Yeah.
Like a lip balm.
Yeah.
I'll put the balm
So
on,
they
Jerry.
just cover you with birds'
Yeah, they
bees.
moisturize you, so your skin
That's
doesn't
nice
get
of
dry.
them.
Yeah, you get like Vaseline.
Bees would be
yeah.
expensive for a whole lot of
Okay, so it's just a suggestion. You shouldn't do it.
Okay. No, it's choice, but and part of your death planning. And after the Civil War, those death rooms turned into the living room.
Oh.
That's where we get living room from.
Oh.
Would you bleed out in the living room?
God.
Because after they'd be embalmed, like once they decided like that they didn't need to have a death room, they just were like, let's
Right, it
change it
just
into
changed
the
The
opposite.
sitting room.
It changed the funeral industry, and people started moving over to funeral homes where bodies would be embalmed and stuff like that. 'cause
Oh,
you
is
couldn't do
that why
in the
they
house.
call it the living room? Because it's the opposite of the dying room?
Yeah, the death room.
Yeah.
Oh my
What?
God.
And it's a room for the living.
Oh,
Louis
my
C.K. is the
God, I'm
funniest
so
joke about,
excited
his
this.
grandmother, someone donating her body to science. And he was like, what if you donated your body to science and you just like, you were given to some student who got like an F and they just write an F on your fucking head?
Just rejection.
Like the kid just fucks up on. Is that a Louis
Yes.
bit, Brian?
Yeah.
I know you're encyclopedic about Louis, but that made me laugh so hard because you think you're like giving your body to like research that's gonna like cure cancer, but it's just like some kid is like poking around and probably is hungover and just shows up and
Yeah.
like just
They're
like
like,
scratches your eyeball with something and they're like, nope, that's wrong. You've ruined this corpse. And they're like, F, and just like throw you in a dumpster.
I got lost at the school and I found the morgue. Not the morgue, but it said gross anatomy. And it was just like a basement. I was looking for the bathroom and it was just that one room with like a big metal door. And I heard
Disgusting
like
anatomy.
clanking in there.
Clinking?
clanking of like metallic tools.
Yeah,
in a
Taylor's a
metallic
professor
box.
Woo! I like
Do they
that
call you
segue.
professor?
Yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh my God. What are you teaching
They say
again?
Professor McGraw, psychology.
At where? I mean, you don't have to say. Okay.
They're going to find me or not.
Oh yeah, that's true. Didn't one of your students find you?
Yeah. Oh, you messed up your eye.
Oh no, my eye makeup.
no, don't cry.
You guys know I'm wearing makeup now. I'm a fraud.
Did you hear the thing about when there was a controversy at least 10 years ago or something where a lot of the bodies being donated to science were being donated to the military, and then they were just using your body to test weapons on to see how like a human
that's kind of cool.
how a
I'd
human
be
body would
pissed.
react to like getting shot by a bullet that explodes.
Oh god.
They
I
like
wouldn't
Chernobyl
mind.
your body.
They have to do that though. They have to do the right research and throw a body into like a
It's better than
Volvo that
live
crashes into
animals.
But the controversy was like, I'm going to donate my body to science, and they weren't telling the families that like this is actually going to be shot by a tank.
Right.
like run over.
That
by
always
a tank.
reminds me, Taylor, of this. Oh my God, this comes full circle to like the joke that you told me about The Simpsons that you said was the funniest joke you'd ever heard in your life. I reminded you of it a couple years ago. Do you remember it? They like they shot a dead body in a cannon. Noah, do you know this? You have speaking of encyclopedic knowledge of Simpsons. They shoot like a
keep going.
grandma in a canyon, and it said a cannon. That's what I meant. Jaguar. And what does it say on the flag?
Let her rip.
Letter R.I.P.
Oh, that's funny.
That's so funny. And that's what they said when they shot those people with cannons.
That's a great
I would like-
epitaph. I mean, let her rip. That's a great
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
That's a great one to
I
have
want that
your...
on my grave.
Okay.
Can I say one more thing, Nikki, about you?
No.
Please, the thing we were talking about. Please, mommy, please.
Yes.
The thing you were saying about trauma, clearly this is speaking to me a lot, but like how people get over breakups and stuff, like Brian
Yeah.
talking also about like, beating
Hurling
himself out.
yourself
Like,
into things.
how can I never repeat this thing? What has helped me so much is advice you've given me and other people a lot, like with regard to having a trauma around a relationship or someone that like
Find
either-
a bridge.
someone that like cheats on you or
tall one.
can't love you the way you thought. And rather than like beating myself up for it and like figuring out how to never have that happen again, what helps a lot is just like the thing you say about it's like hugging someone that doesn't have arms.
Oh, yeah.
Like they really can't help it. And it sounds so trite. You can't tell someone that and believe it right after you found out someone cheated on you. But so often that is the thing. Like you really didn't deserve that particular trauma. And it is like you just picked someone that can't give it back to you. And it might even have it's like the same thing with a job that goes badly. Like maybe it's just not a match. I'm going off.
No. I think I remember the person who gave me this advice first was Rachel Feinstein. I liked this guy so much and he just wouldn't like me back. And it was like, why not? We're perfect for each other. Like I know you like me as like a friend. Why couldn't this be romantic? I know you're attracted to me. It just doesn't make sense. And she was like, he can't love you the way you want to be loved. And I'm like, why though? She goes, no, you're not hearing me. It's not that he can't love you. He can't love anyone. Like you're asking for something he doesn't have to give.
And people can sense that. You can be so hot, but they're probably like, oh, I just can tell. They want more. People can sense
It's
it.
like asking a fish to ride a bicycle.
Yeah,
exactly. Or a fish
with
to hug
what?
you.
His
Yes, like
fins?
they
Come
just
on.
It's like trying
can't
to
do
fuck
it.
a
And like
fish.
and like my
on a bicycle.
I think that's what was so uncomfortable about like my body not being what I wanted it to be was that I think we just want we want to take action. We want things to change instantly. Someone's mad at me. Stop being mad at me right now. You're cheating on me. Apologize and make everything better and say you won't do it again. And sometimes you just don't get that immediate thing that you want so much. I mean, I know every bestie is like thinking about something. I hope that you're thinking of something in your life that you're like, yes, I just want this to be like relieved now. Like, why can't you just give me what I want? And when you're dealing with your body stuff, like it's impossible to have a quick fix. There isn't second one, even if you were to get surgery, if you're to do Ozempic, those are still things that are going to take weeks. Like I can't fix this right now. And that's so frustrating that I just had to go see Oppenheimer when really I wanted to go I wanted to go run 20 miles. Like I just wanted to get, and I had to go to dinner that night. And like, I'm like, I have to eat a meal soon. And like, this is what got me here is eating. And I have meals that I have to go eat. Like I can't not eat the rest of my life. And like, that is really frustrating that you just have to keep living your life when there is something that seems like so desperately in need of change. But then you just think about like, I just had to go back to like, I'm so happy I have arms. I'm so happy I have an ass that is like bigger than I want it to be. It's better than having no ass, which I'd had for a really long time. It was hard to sit on and really hurt a lot. And, you know, like, or whatever it is. Like, I just, all I know is that what helps me is that I was a weight that I liked not so long ago. And if it took me this long to get here, it'll take me that long to get back to that. Like, I don't have to do anything crazy. I didn't do anything crazy to get here. I just ate a little bit too much here and there, but I haven't gone nuts. And maybe you're someone who has gone nuts and who is like, well, I've never been the weight that I want to be. I don't know what to say to you, but for me, I don't have a solution there, but I think the solution is is truly just accepting the moment and just being like, and going back to a thing that I said years ago on this podcast, which is like, I don't want my ass to look like this. I would have never chosen this. It's not my fault. And I could say it's my fault because I overate. I was a lazy ass. I didn't work out. But if I could have, I would have. And I didn't. And it's not like I'm not a bad person because my ass looks like this. I'm not, I was talking to my therapist yesterday and I was lamenting this stuff. And I'm like, to me, it equals lazy. And to me, laziness triggers everything that my dad didn't like about me as a kid or my mom as a kid. My dad's a go-getter, always wants to be like, let's go on for a bike ride. Let's go down to the creek. Let's go do this. Let's go pick up pine cones.
Come on, you punks. Let's go canoeing.
You punks. Yeah, let's go do anything. And if we didn't want to do something, if we would have preferred to stay in and watch TV, we were lazy. And it was kind of like this. No shame on my dad because that's just the way he is. He was kind of like disgusted with us. Like, how are you even my kids? Like, you just want to stay inside? Like, that's such a waste of life. So I have this like association with being lazy as being a wasteful person, a bad person. And then to me, having a fat ass equals you weren't active. You were sitting on the couch eating too much equals you're a bad person. You chose to do this, but I didn't. I didn't choose to have this ass. If anything, I'm very upset about it. So if you don't like what you have, just go back to the reasoning of like, you didn't do anything to do. You're not a bad person because you have it, because no one would choose to have something on themselves that they don't like. It just is the hand you were dealt. And did it help that my boyfriend then wanted to go into AG Jeans that is now has a whole section that's by M. Rata, and M. Rata's fucking abs and her dumb little ass that is literally the size of my forearm is her waist is so fucking tiny and it's everywhere on these posters. And I was just like fucking furious because she has her own struggles, but she was just born with that body. She didn't do anything different than you. She doesn't work out more than you do. She doesn't. She's just born that way. Just
also,
like you
a
were born
great
that
tip
way.
for being traumatized in these moments in a fitting room or at home is get away from the mirror. Go put on something comfortable. Those two things have saved my life so many times. That day that I was in the bikini in front of me, I'm like,
yeah.
Get away from this fucking mirror. You've spent 20 minutes just being like, oh my God, what about this angle? Oh my God, what about this angle?
I don't have a problem with like, I don't dig into it. I see
just
it and then
walk
I
away
leave.
and get out of the bikini and put on something comfortable, because there's nothing worse than having like super tight pants on where you're like, I can't believe these don't fit. And then you're in them for hours, just like, these fucking pants, my fucking body. It's just.
Do you do the thing though where, I mean, we all do it, where you look at someone who has the body you want or has the job you want and you just go like, how could they ever complain about anything when their body looks like that? How could
they're squandering it?
What would
I get mad at them?
You get like, you think they're not even appreciating it.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't even, your pants just slide right on. Isn't that great? And then you slide out the door and everything's fine. I'm like,
yeah, like every
bitch.
time if anything,
they're always sliding.
Yeah, they're sliding. Yeah, that thing of like you've never put on pants and gone like, oh, they're tight. Like I know certain people
not
like that.
Again. I can't put this. Oh no, nothing fits. You've never done that. Ever.
Yeah.
When I see a
And
dude
just the
who's got
jealousy or
a
envy.
famous person who's got a great bod, or at least I used to do this, I would just look up what their workout is. Like I did the Hugh Jackman workout for a couple of years, and I did the Chris Evans Captain America workout. I wanted to be like, I can do what they do and look like that. And the Hugh Jackman workout actually did change my body.
Yeah, you're an action man.
Yeah, now he has knives
I'm
for
gonna be like
fingers.
Brian.
Yeah, I have knives coming out my knuckles now. It was actually surgery, not a workout. Did I say that?
The Hugh Jackman thing, it reminds me of when I probably have told this on the podcast before, but it's like a famous moment in Chris and I's relationship. Is that how you say Chris and I's?
Chris
and my relationship. We went to go see Avengers, one of the fucking X-Men movies. Is
What?
that X-Men
No,
Avengers?
no, Avengers is Marvel.
the same?
No, that's like
X-Men movies.
Oh, you saw
sorry.
an X-Men.
We went to see
Okay.
X-Men. I'm so sorry to
Oh
everyone
my God.
who was offended by
I
that.
can't believe-
Truly.
that is only
Canceled.
something that someone
need to
who truly
apologize.
doesn't know that stuff could say. Like a person who knows, like if you're trying to come up with a joke,
Anything about
if you're
it.
trying to come up with a line of dialogue that someone who doesn't know about this stuff would say, you wouldn't be able to do it
That's
unless you
it.
truly didn't know. Because that's so like
Yeah.
I wouldn't even think to say that.
That would be like you saying, I don't know, that Britney Spears was in Clueless. Like you just take two cultural phenomenons from the 90s and you like put them
Or Britney
together.
wasn't
You
Destiny's
think like
Child.
Taz was an X-Men?
Okay,
Yeah.
right. That's how crazy it is. So yeah, I truly don't know about this stuff because, and Chris always tells me when I don't know about things because I get annoyed that I don't know things. Like I'm like, how do I not know the X-Men, Marvel, DC
Why would
differences?
you?
And he says because you don't care. And I'm like, but I want to know. So doesn't that equal caring?
You wanna know
so anyway,
everything.
we went to go see. I do want to know everything. We went to
Me
go see
too.
X-Men years ago. And Hugh Jackman, there's a scene in the morning where he gets out of bed. He's like in bed with a woman. He gets up in the morning and he like goes like, oh, and he like stretches. He's sitting up in bed. You'll know the scene if you know what I'm talking about. And his back looks, and
This isn't Logan. This is
accidentally-
Logan.
Logan,
Yeah.
okay. I accidentally gasped in admiration of it. I just was like, but Chris immediately heard it and goes, "Did you just gasp?" And I'm like, "I'm really
back?
sorry, but I didn't mean to." It wasn't the type of like because I've talked about this on stage where there are certain guys and girls who will like say little things. I'm sure you've dated some guys like this, or I certainly Anya and Noah have dated guys like this, or been women that do this when you're in a jealous situation in a relationship. Where you will make comments about celebrities in front of your partner because celebrities feel safe because it's like, I'm not going to date that person. So they're like safe to comment and be like, God, she looks good. Or, oh my God, he's so hot. Because you're like, I'm not going to actually meet him. What are you jealous about, John? But you do it because you're trying to make your partner jealous. It's like this passive aggressive way to
It
get
is so
away with
passive,
making them
yeah.
jealous that you're like, well, I can't really ever be with them, but it's a shitty thing to do. I would never do that on purpose unless I was like a really bad version of myself. But I wasn't doing this on purpose. It was truly a gas deep from within me that's like where I was like, oh, I know I'm not gay. You know, like there's a moment like that comes out of me where I'm like, sometimes I question if I could. I'm probably like, I think 20% gay. And that confirmed the other 80% hardcore was that just came out of me.
The huge jacked man.
The huge jacked man. Have you guys ever dated someone who's made like comments about celebrities or like just little things
I would
that
be
you
so
go
mad.
are so annoying and you're like, oh really? You think she's hot?
Yeah, you think she would ever
really
like
original?
you? Everyone likes her. Duh.
Anyone?
No, I'm trying to think. I like someone who's intentionally cruel like that. Like
No, they're getting away with it. It's such a good move. It's someone who's very smart about being a piece of shit because they have the
it's kinda
excuse that it's
narcy.
just she's a beautiful woman. She's a model on TV. What am I not supposed to? No one should look like that. No one does look like that, babe. I wouldn't expect you, but they're just doing it to get at you a little bit.
It's
No,
like,
you
we
don't
know
have any-
they're good looking, so why even bother?
Yeah. Well, I have a joke about it, so I'm sorry to share my Djokovic about it, but didn't he just win the finals?
Nah,
yeah.
Dal.
Well,
just made up
here's my Djokovic. Well, because this really happened to me. A guy like right after we had hooked up, was on his TikTok and was going through, and he saw J-Lo and he goes, God, she's hot. And I was just like, kid. And I called him out for it. I was like, that's really, I go,
It's irreversibly
what I
kid.
said was, can you not, and I'm really apologize if you hear this in my act, and I'm not trying to tell the story to be like, give you a little trailer of coming to see me live, but this is a joke I do in my act, and I'll try to make it more conversational.
We'll see you this weekend in Chicago and Peoria.
Chicago, September
NikkiGlaser.com.
15th. Yes. Come
go
get
to
tickets.
Peoria.
It's going to be so exciting. But I don't even know if I'll tell this joke on stage. I probably tell it one every 10 shows, but he, this is 100% true. I had just given him pleasure and to completion, right? And I'm cuddling afterwards with him and watching him on his phone, and he pulls J-Lo comes up and he goes, God, she's hot. Like just under his breath, almost like I can't help it kind of thing, like the way I did with Hugh Jackman. But I knew that it wasn't just involuntary, like, sorry, I can't help it, babe, she's hot.
A gasp is different than a sentence.
First of all, even if it was a gasp, anything that comes from that place of like, man, she's hot, that's a horniness, right?
Yeah.
I had just, his horniness was inside me at that point. If you have no semen in your balls anymore, you have nothing in you. Your body is not sending signals to your brain to go to lust after women. Men who are listening, after you come, is there anything in you that would be so horny that you couldn't help but say, God, she's so hot? Literally a minute after you come? No. It was completely done to send a message to me, please leave. And I don't really like you that much. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, I was like, can you please, I really did say this because I was trying to practice telling my feelings to men more than I usually do, because my whole theory is that I don't know. I always think that if you tell men how you feel in a relationship and you're like, I don't like when you do this, they'll just leave you because they'll go, well, that's the way I do it. What are you doing? So I said to him, can you not say other women are hot when your semen is still in my upper digestive tract? And that is literally what I said. And and I said it in a jokey way. Even though I stood up for myself, I still was saying, like, I was still like, I have cum in me. I suck your dick. I'm a little cum baby whore. Like, it was still like me being like, but remember,
Cum
even though I'm
dumpster.
confronting you and a little bit mad, I'm still a little cum baby.
I have a pacifier.
Cum. And so he laughed. And then he truly said, no matter where my cum is, it's never going to change the fact that J-Lo is hot. She's always going to be hot no matter where it is in the world.
It's never going to be anywhere near her.
Yes. He
Then he fucked
had
her
worked with her
next week.
before.
Oh.
And so he was kind of,
He
and he
wanted
also
you
told
to
me that she
know
was
it's
so cool on
possible.
set and was so nice and blah,
It's so
blah, blah.
unnecessary, though. It's like, this is who I am. If you want to date me, this is who I am. That's what he's doing.
I
That's what all men,
hate-
so
who
many
is
men
this
do this in the
person?
beginning of dating. They just show you who they are so that you know, like, this is the shit. One of my friends was texting with a guy early on, and it was just like, what are you up to? And he said something like, well, doing my favorite stuff, like, saw my kids, did this, and watched porn. And I'm like, he's just letting you know
Yeah.
right now.
So
So you don't have to
you can't
find
get
out.
mad at him later.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so true. And yeah, this guy was telling me who he was, and I left shortly after that and was just like, bye. Like, I was proud of myself for being like, bye, and like slammed the door. I mean, I pursued it for too long after that, but yeah, I mean, loud and clear.
But he
Won't do
still
that again.
hasn't fucked J-Lo, has he?
Probably not.
No.
No, there's no fucking chance.
No chance.
All right, we're gonna go to break. We're gonna come back after this. I want to talk about football, of all things. I'm so sorry to the girl in the room that doesn't want to hear about football. Okay, we're back. Last night was Monday night.
Yes.
Is it Monday? Yeah.
Shout
Never
out
forget.
September 11th.
Yeah. So never forget September 11th.
Happy
Today's
9/11
Thursday.
to all the haters.
But
and
today is
losers.
Thursday. Yes, today is September 14th. Yes. But we are recording this on a Tuesday. So yesterday was Monday Night Football. I think everyone here would know, and probably all my listeners, I don't understand anything about football. I don't get it. It's confusing. I can't follow the ball. Everyone looks the same. It's too many players on the field. I don't understand literally anything about it. Taylor, can you follow a football game pretty well?
It almost never even touches a foot, the ball.
Well, there's kicking.
There's kicking.
Oh, I never seen that, so I guess I don't know anything.
Do you
Oh, yeah, they
understand
kick
like
the one thing.
downs and
Hell
the yard
no.
lines and
When it
like line of
comes to that,
scrimmage
baby,
and
I'm
like
down.
You went through
touchdowns
this.
and penalties?
No,
Taylor does not know.
Okay.
Anya
I've
doesn't
never-
know, and
I've
I don't
never-
know.
The only time I ever watched it was in high school.
When
we
you
had
guys
to.
watch a football game, what and you try to understand it, is there anything that you understand? Like
The first
can't-
part of that sentence I can't relate to.
You've never tried to watch a football game. You've never been
I mean,
at
I was
somewhere
a
where people
cheerleader
are
in
watching
high
a football
school.
game.
I was forced to cheer for football players for a year of my life or a season.
I
But
was
that
too on
I
the
also
pep
was
squad.
clueless about.
Yeah.
Taylor and I were both on the girls pep
But we
squad.
we didn't watch because we were just
flirting
Pepping.
with
No.
boys and painting our faces and
Yeah.
just like leading cheers.
and arranging the boys to spell penis with their chests.
Oh right, yeah, because it was pioneers.
Pioneer. Yeah,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I
That's
still
pretty
have
funny.
that picture.
That's so
We should
good.
find him and send it to him.
Okay. But okay, Brian,
Yes.
last night I was watching with Chris, and Brian likes football, and I was kind of inspired because last week we went to Brian's house, me and Chris, in LA at his apartment, his lovely apartment with his lovely wife and his adorable dog, Allie and Jack, and we watched Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, well, it
Yes.
was NFL
It was the-
kickoff. It was the first game of the
It was
season.
NFL kickoff.
Yeah.
Is it like
And
every night?
it's like every
Monday?
night.
No, it's
Monday,
famously not every
Tuesday.
night. I mean, yeah, it is increasing in days just to make money, but it is the big day is on Sunday, and then there's Monday
Okay.
night football, and then there's now they added Thursday night football, which people aren't happy about. The players aren't happy.
But how do
about.
they differ?
Why are the players not happy?
Because it's too short of a rest week, and more people tend to get injured on Thursday night because they only have 4 days to rest between a Sunday game and a Thursday game.
Gotcha.
Tell me
Okay.
about it.
So, we're watching football. So I was inspired by Allie, who is Brian's wife, who like understands football, is like passionate about it. Like they're both excited to watch it together. And I'm like, man, I have a boyfriend who's just as passionate about football as Brian is. It would be nice if like he had an Allie in his life that could like understand it and like follow along with him. And he had it on I guess Sunday night, and I just don't like Chris Collingsworth's voice. It just sounds like
Aw.
Back of his throat. Like, I just don't like how it sounds. And it's just like, he always has like a bubble in his throat.
Is it
it
from
bugs
being
me.
buff and like a thick neck from being a football buff man?
I don't know. Was he? I'm guessing he was a football player, Brian. Yeah. Chris
Yeah, he
Collingsworth?
was a football player.
It just always sounds like
Sometimes
he's
they
like,
can't
talking like an
I can't do a good impression because it just hurts my throat. But his voice doesn't. It's almost comical that it bothers me. It doesn't really bother me that much. But I love Joe Buck. Love Joe Buck. He does Monday Night Football.
That is a controversial statement.
Well, you know what? It shouldn't be because I know
Why?
Joe Buck personally, and he is one of the greatest people I've ever met. He is a friend of mine. He is a true friend. He is a good person. He is so funny. He's one of the funniest people outside of comedy that I've ever met. I originally became a fan of his because I had no idea who he was. I knew he
there
was like
two of
sports
him?
related.
There's
No.
like an older
Jack
Joe
Buck with his dad.
Okay.
Was his dad that did Cardinals announcing, but Joe does baseball and football and I'm sure other stuff. But I first heard Joe Buck on Howard Stern show, and he was doing the commentating for JD, one of these people on the show, eating a cheesesteak or something, and it was just so funny that he was doing the play-by-play of this guy, this sloppy guy, like eating food, and I thought it was so funny, and I was like, this is the first time I've ever been like interested in anything sports related. Was this Joe Buck guy? He also was getting a hair transplant and had during the hair transplant they gave him like a tube down his throat for the anesthesia during the process, and it damaged his vocal cords in such a way that he couldn't speak afterwards. Like he lost his whole voice, and he is a commentator. Like that his voice is him. And so he had to go get vocal cord surgery. He was actually the one that sent me to my vocal cord surgeon, the best in the nation, who's done Adele, who's done John Mayer, who's done, that one guy that sings, stop it, stop it. Sam Smith.
Oh yeah.
You know that song. Anyway, he's become such a good friend of mine. I love him so much. So last night I woke up from a nap at like 7:30 and I walk out in the kitchen and Chris is watching football and I go, is that Joe Buck? Because like his voice just is like a
It is
soothing
a very
blanket to
soothing
me. I
voice.
fucking love him.
Is he Cardinals?
He does the Cardinals, but he does like
I love a Cardinals guy. One of them.
really? Yeah.
I listened to it in the car.
He's just the best guy. I just love him so much that, you know, when you just like hear someone you like love and you're just like, my friend is like doing this. The thing that is watched by the most people, my friend his voice is talking the whole time. And so that made me kind of want to get involved because I'm like, I'll watch anything Joe Buck does. And so I was like, Chris, will you explain football to me? I know we've tried this before. Let's do it again. And so he pulled up on his iPad like a picture of the football field, and we talked about downs, and he ran a fake game to be like, okay, so what down would it be? And it would be blank and blank. And I'd be like, okay, it's 2nd and 3. Okay, now they got a penalty, so they lost 5 yards. And I would be like, okay, now it's 3rd and 2. And so I think I got it. I think I understand.
Okay,
the
what's
basics.
1st and 10?
That means it's the first down, and you got to get 10 yards.
Yeah.
Oh.
To get first down.
In 10 or first and? Okay,
for
I've been
any
saying that
sport,
wrong,
if
I
you want to
lied.
understand any sport, just like anything, you need the proper motivation. And the only motivation, there's 2 ways you can motivate.
Joe Buck.
There's
Sex.
2 ways you can motivate
Penis.
yourself properly for a sport, and that is pick a team that you like and root for them, because then you'll be invested in knowing the rules because you want them to win. If the ref fucks up and fucks your team, you'll be like, you didn't know the fucking rule, ref, you know?
Yeah, that's what I told Chris. I want to be someone that goes like, oh, fuck!
Yes.
I want to be able to be at a Buffalo Wild Wings and go, go.
That's fun.
I want to do it because I can do it, but I'm always a second behind everyone else because I want to make sure that I'm doing it on the right time.
I've done it the wrong time.
Right?
a lot,
It sucks when you do it for the wrong team. So I want to be able to, and then I was also motivated by, I sent it to Noah and Anya, a clip of a bunch of famous people watching tennis. It was like
Saw
Cara
that.
Delevingne and like Nicole Kidman and Mindy
Amanda
Kaling and
Seyfried.
Amanda Seyfried, and they're going back and forth watching, and they all like at the same time were like, oh, and like tennis is easier to understand like when it's like, oh, but there's like lots of little rules in there where it's like the ball can maybe go on the line, and that's okay. I don't know any of that stuff, and I was like, if these bitches can understand this, I gotta get in on this. Like there's gotta be something fun about this. I want in. So Brian, the thing that I'm a little confounded about though is I don't care about learning the positions. Like I don't care about learning wide receiver. I don't care about learning, the defensive line.
Sure.
I don't care about those certain positions. What is the position of the guy? What's the guy that is the quarterback and then he tosses it to that
running
guy?
back.
The running back.
Yeah.
I don't care. And I also
Turns
don't
out.
understand why. Why do they do that where they have to toss it through their legs? What a dumb little gay rule.
It's sexy.
I mean gay in the sense that it's men who have sex with each other. I don't
When they're not in the
it's
shotgun,
gay
the quarterback literally has to stick his fingers in the center's grundle. It has to be as close
I know. What do they
there.
do? What is it called
What
when they
is a
do that? When they get
grundle?
right under? Chris told me. The running back comes and he's just like sitting right
The
under his
quarterback
ass.
is sitting right under the center's ass, waiting for the hike.
Yes, that's right.
It's just a
Yes.
snap.
What is that
It's
called?
a snap, a hike.
Oh, I don't. Yeah. It's what is the point of tossing it through your legs? Do we know? Is there any point to it? Is it just like, well, what's the point to
Okay,
anything?
well, if I was
Nikki?
going to get into the history of it, then there's a lineman that needs to protect the quarterback. And you could just hand the ball to the quarterback so that he has the ball, but then he would get hit immediately because there's no one protecting him. So there has to be
You need that
there has to be a
time.
big giant guy who's standing up where the ball is, and he has to throw it back to the guy behind him that really needs to have the ball, so the big giant guy can protect the guy who needs the ball from the other big
Okay,
guys
thank
trying
you.
to attack
This is
him.
helpful.
Yeah.
I just want things to make sense, and a lot of things don't. Like Chris was talking to me about, like if anything but their hands touch the ground, it means that it's a fumble. And I was like, well, what if why wouldn't their hands, why wouldn't you always just I couldn't understand the hand thing. He's like, because your hand can be used to like propel you. You could still be going with your hand on all fours, like that little horse girl. I don't know. It's what I don't
What
understand.
horse girl?
If you understand all
interested.
Oh, you never seen the girl that runs on all fours like a horse?
Oh no,
Taylor.
You know I want to see.
I know you're off the grid and you just have a flip bone. There's
I've never
so
heard of
many
horse
fucking
girl.
crazy things happening on. You've
Anya
never seen it
hasn't seen
either.
it? Yeah,
the girl that
let's-
can run like a horse on all fours. Have you seen it, Brian?
Is
No.
it sexy?
Oh my god, I'll pull it up for you
Okay,
guys later.
sorry, I'm not trying
How
to
old is
derail
she?
football or anything.
She's like probably in her late teens.
Okay.
Yeah. But
could
she
do it in a
jumps over
pool.
things too, like a horse. Like she'll jump over those like
the
little
future.
fences. You just made a horse sound.
Does she eat apples?
You neighed.
You did neigh.
That's the next generation. They're all trying to be
whinnied.
little animals.
But Brian, can I ask you this, and we'll close up this talk. Final thought, Brian. Did someone sit you down and tell you these rules? Because I don't know how people. I even asked Chris last night. I go, do you think Allie, like someone sat her down with an iPad or like drew a football?
It's just
court
from
field?
watching. Well, for me, it's I
I could watch it 1,000 years and not understand
I played
it.
football video game, Madden. And so you learn the rules that way. You learn all the players that way. But then also you just sit down, you watch, you root for your team. And now I gamble. So then I know everything about everybody. All those things combined over the course of, you have to understand, over the course of, what's it now, like 20 years, 25 years I've been watching this. So of course, some of that's going to sink in over that amount of time, no matter what.
Is there anything do you remember though, times in your formative years where I just feel like
Yeah, maybe other bros.
everyone is just born with everything about football in their head already? Like, do you remember being like, well, Dad, why did he just get that? Why are they now going to the side of the thing? And why is the clock still running when there's no action going? Like questions like that have confounded me. Why does the clock keep
Well, no, we
going
still-
when there's nothing going on?
That is confounding.
When the players are all walking around like they're socializing.
Well, that rule
on
keeps
the field.
changing, and so I relate to your confoundedness. Like, why is the clock
I'm
running
always like,
now?
stop! The guy that runs the clock is sleeping.
And then to make things
I always-
even more complicated, in college football, the rules are different. So if you're watching a college
No.
football game, it's like, well, now the clock doesn't stop.
That's enough.
Yeah. But no, I do have.
just so
I do.
impressed.
There's exciting things that happened in football over this weekend that were not game related that I think you'd
Okay,
be
tell me.
interested in. So to start off, this weekend I'm going to Dallas because every year my high school friends go to a Jets away game somewhere in the country, so they can go to all the different stadiums and see their favorite team, the New York Jets, play against another team in an away stadium. This year, they're going to Dallas to see the Cowboys play the Jets. And so I'm going this weekend.
Oh, at NRG Field?
I guess so. Is that what it is? That from Taylor Swift knowledge?
I don't know.
Nikki Glaser?
I've been to all these football stadiums now because of Taylor Swift, but yeah.
But yeah, so we're going
Possibly.
to the Dallas Cowboys Stadium this weekend to see now the big thing about the Jets is that they got a brand new quarterback this year, Aaron Rodgers, who is a Hall of Famer
He got injured
who came
last
from the
night.
Packers. And the Jets have not won the Super Bowl since 1969. So if you're a Jets fan, this is like every year is just hell for you. You're just watching your team get dominated. And this year was the first year ever that they had a quarterback that could potentially take them to the Super Bowl. And everyone
And
was
he's
excited
injured.
and it was all built up. That's not the story though. So
Okay.
as you may have seen last night, Monday Night Football, 3 plays into Aaron Rodgers' tenure as a New York Jet, he tears his Achilles and he's out for the season.
What?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
He tore his
That'll
Achilles.
kill ye.
He's out for this. All the Jets fans,
Oh my God.
they spent $25 million in cap space on this guy, and in 3 plays, he's done for the season. His career is most likely over now. And this was the only hope.
Because he was old already.
He was
Just because
39.
of an Achilles tear?
Just because.
Achilles
Because
is a
fix
giant,
that.
How long
giant
does it take to fix?
tendon.
An Achilles tear.
Dude,
You
it
can't
wraps-
move it.
He is.
Well,
he's out at least for 3
He's
months.
out for the year for sure, and then he probably will. There's football players who get Achilles tears and they can never come back and play again because not only does it take it's
Jesus
a
Christ,
devastating
that's so
injury,
sad.
but also, and he wasn't even the only guy who tore his Achilles this weekend. A running back also did it too.
What?
Usually, if you tear your Achilles, you cannot come back and play to the.
You remember on Pet Cemetery when the kid like cuts the guy's Achilles
Yes.
on the stairs and he just goes.
It's a devastating
okay.
injury. Usually, you can't.
It's awful.
Usually, you
Can
can't.
the team get their money back or at least to store credit?
No, why do you want the team? Like the player should get money. I mean, he played. He still tore his Achilles. You know, you got to give the.
But they spent all this money on him acquiring
Yeah, there's
him,
not
right?
insurance for that.
Yeah, but that's like that's like
good
saying that's taking away money from the worker. The Aaron Rodgers is the guy doing the work. He put his body on the line. He tore his Achilles on the job.
No,
Yeah,
he should
true.
still keep the
Yeah.
money. But
So
why am I feeling for the big guy?
I don't think you're feeling for them. You're just thinking logically, like if you spent something on something and it got injured.
We want some emotion to go into this.
If I bought an
Some
Aaron Rodgers
feminine
and
energy.
Yeah. Okay.
So this guy's hurt. The Jets fans are devastated. And now, on top of that, personally, I've got to fly to Dallas to watch some backup quarterback get trounced by the Cowboys.
Dear
this is going to
God.
suck. But here's the really interesting thing. There's controversy.
Okay.
Because
What?
the Jets, which they also share the same stadium with the Giants. Okay, it's the same stadium. They just switch off. They're
Gillette Field or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my God.
See, this is where you could come in handy watching the game.
Yeah, he didn't know.
Oh, that's Geehaw
Oh, they're
Field. Yeah.
Gillette. You know, like how the distance and like all the treachery that could befall the
I just know
players.
that's where Taylor Swift starts delicate.
stumble.
Listen, I don't know who's winning the game right now.
They're snapping
I
off
just know they're
from
on
the
Gillette
blank
Field.
space. Yeah, I just know everywhere she sings, and I can talk about plays that way. Okay, go on.
Yeah, so not only do I have to watch the shitty game, but so on this field, the Jets and Giants share the field. It's MetLife Stadium. And the field, there's controversy because the field is made of turf. It's a turf field. And a lot of the time,
the way you said that was
a lot
funny.
of the time the fields are made of grass, which are harder to maintain. But people have been saying for years that this field is horrible to play on. It causes injuries all the time. And the players have been begging for them to change this field from turf to grass. And in fact, in 2026, the World Cup is coming to America. And for 2026, for the fucking soccer players who have demanded it for some reason, they are changing that field from turf to grass.
They did it on purpose. It's a conspiracy. I believe
So they all agree that the turf field is bad, but they left it there and they're changing it for the soccer players. 3 hours before the game started, this guy on Twitter, many hours before the game started.
Sorry, Brian.
Yes.
It was the Monday night game played on this
Yes,
field.
the Monday night game was played on this turf field.
Okay, thank
and
you.
Everyone's
Sorry.
like, this is bad for the players. And then it was raining outside.
How many fields are turf in football?
I can't answer that, but they are slow. Like Detroit's field changed recently. They are trying to change out the fields to not be turf anymore.
That's crazy that they would each have different. I know that tennis can play on different kinds of courts, but like, why not keep it consistent? That's insane.
Home field advantage. Some
grass
NFL
can't
teams
grow,
are indoors
maybe.
and some are outdoors. And like if it's snowing,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Yeah. It's a cold night at Lambeau.
that's yeah. Is that a Taylor
Well,
Swift
whenever
thing?
I would wear this, Chris would make fun of me because when we used to do shoots outside for Not Safe, I would wear this gigantic long down jacket that goes all the way down to my ankles, like black down. And whenever I wear it, he'd say it's a cold night at Lambeau because I guess they wear those jackets down to their legs. Is that down to their ankles?
Yeah, sometimes they do that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's how I know it's a cold night at Lambeau.
You know a lot.
Again, another field I know. Okay, go on, Brian.
So it's
So the conspiracy on Twitter, 3 hours before the game on Twitter.
3 hours before this random guy,
Okay.
whose name happens to be at Daddy Zaslav, and his Twitter name is David Zaslav, which is just like supposed to be funny.
Wait, Daddy Zaslav is what Tim Dillon calls
Yeah,
Zaslav.
so maybe he's a Tim Dillon fan.
I'm sure he
This
is.
guy tweets out, I quote, Aaron Rodgers is going to tear his Achilles on a rain-drenched MetLife turf in 2.5 hours.
See?
Stop
Yes.
It's a conspiracy. I knew it. I can smell a
MK
conspiracy.
Ultra.
He tweeted that.
How?
And then 2.5
They
hours
paid
later.
him to take a fall.
That would be, why would that be a conspiracy? Like, that would be horrible for the game. It's horrible for the NFL. It's
They
horrible.
paid him to take
Paid
a
him
fall.
off.
Why? That's bad
Because-
for the game. That's bad for money.
Because a rich
What do you
person
think it
bet
is?
on
Is this
it.
guy?
No.
Yeah, what do you think it is, Bri?
This guy, I think he knew about the turf and that it was that, and he was just predicting.
He was just taking a shot.
Out of all the millions of people who tweeted about the game. He just happened to be correct. But what I don't understand is you look at that same Twitter account today, and for some reason, that guy's Twitter account has been banned.
No duh, because it's
Whoa.
conspiracy.
That tweet has been deleted, and he's been
That's
banned.
insane.
Why? No one knows.
because I don't know. And by the way, we're all talking about X now, right? Twitter
Yes.
is not the way
Yeah,
it is
it's
anymore.
X.
It's not Twitter anymore.
It's called X.
But it's weird that he
I
said
know.
in two and a
that's
half hours. Was he
extreme.
exactly right on the
Well,
time?
that's when the game started, so pretty close.
And it happened right then?
I mean, it happened about
Started
3 minutes into the
first.
game.
Don't you think that's also a great guess?
Yes, that's why this tweet's got like viewed millions of
times. I think there's probably lots of ones that lots of people probably made tweets like that
this
did
one
not
was exactly right.
Specific.
Aaron Rodgers is going to tear his Achilles. He said the exact injury. He knew before, but then it was banned.
But does he have a weak Achilles? Does he have history of any kind of Achilles issues?
No, not at all.
Maybe he didn't really tear his Achilles, and it's all part of the plot.
What is the plot for?
Okay, so there is a
I don't know. I don't even know what football is.
People on the internet do.
I'm trying to be interested.
There is a dumb conspiracy theory online that the NFL is scripted, which is totally wrong. But like people do.
Oh
say
yeah,
that.
I believe it.
A scripted.
It's
like
scripted.
the WWE. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to watch the MTV Movie or Music Awards tonight? Is there any interest there? Because I am so excited about it.
I don't
because
have
Taylor
live TV.
might
Should
be
I get
there.
it?
I'm watching MTV Music Awards because there's just rumors she might be there. And where are these rumors? On Twitter, or I mean, not on X. They're on Reddit, just in the Taylor Swift sub. There's no way she's actually going to go. Do you know? I was thinking there's probably 1 million people that are going to watch this just for the off chance she does show up.
Does she not go?
She's
have a
nominated for
question.
11 awards.
She never shows
will Nicki Minaj be at the VMAs?
I don't think she was listed when I saw the rundown, but I could be wrong about that. Why?
Because Daddy Zaslav just tweeted that she's going to be there.
There's a rumor that they have a collab going. So the Barbs and the Swifties are about to collide.
Oh, the what? The Barbs?
The Barbs.
Is that her fan group?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think the Selena Gomez's people, their group is called the Senators. Do you know why?
It's a football
I
team.
have no idea why.
Oh, that's a really good Selena Gomez. Is this a good one too?
Have you been watching Only Murders season?
No, that's really good, Anya. My God.
Guys, I'm riding the elevator separately from you both.
Oh my God.
Ooh, that made me have ASMR.
I know it is. Her voice is so soothing. It's pretty good. Okay, so I talked about. So I think I have a grasp on football. Chris is going to keep tutoring me. He got really into it. It was really fun to have your boyfriend explain something to you. It would be like me getting to explain like Taylor Swift stuff to him, or like I'm trying to think of when I explained something to him that really got me worked up. But a lot of times, I like. If you want to have a good time with your man, ask them to explain something they care passionately about and let them like demonstrate it and get up and like draw diagrams and things like that. Like, I think he had a really good time with it.
And act really dumb and surprised. Like, oh my God, really?
I was really dumb and surprised.
But you have to get it at some point. Otherwise, it gets frustrating. You have to some degree.
No, I got it. He was proud of me.
I can see
you
you
have to do
now
a
at Buffalo
quiz.
Wild Wings being that girl. I could see it.
I really do, because listen, I'm a passionate person. I really love to care about things and root for things. And I've always felt my whole life that the fact that I don't enjoy sports, there's something missing. Like there is something fun about like even though it is fleeting, and I really would argue that most people can't even remember what happened in a game they really cared about 4 months ago that they were screaming about and like breaking things about, that it just doesn't matter.
I can't wait to find something I love so much that I break shit.
Like, what is
about
it? Taylor, what is your thing that you care the most about? I recently
John Bonet.
Oh my
I
God,
was
that's
going
so
to guess
funny.
that. We should all
You
guess.
know that.
I just got asked because I'm doing Ellie Kemper's podcast next week, and it's called Born to Love, and it's like we talk about things you love on it. And so they asked my assistant, like, or they asked my people, like, can Nikki give us a list of things that she loves?
Columbine.
And I said Columbine and Taylor Swift. And so, and Ellie Kemper reading that made me so laugh to think about her getting an email being like, are she sure that she said Columbine?
Yeah,
just
maybe
being like
she
very
said
like
Columbia Music Club.
I guess we can talk about that. Everyone loves different things. Like her just being very, she's such a positive person. But I was struggling to come up with. So your most passionate thing is Jean Bonnet.
Yeah, murder, psychology stuff.
When Casey
insects.
Anthony's verdict was
Casey
read,
Anthony.
were you like at Buffalo Wild Wings?
I was like
screaming.
I mean, you can see a lot of good video clips of people.
Do you
like,
remember the OJ verdict?
Yeah,
I do too. I was in seventh grade.
Yeah,
No, sixth grade, and you were
seventh
probably in
or
seventh.
eighth,
Yeah. I remember that was a big fucking day. We
Yeah.
were in gym class and we had the radio playing,
They
so we could all
wheeled the
listen.
TV
Sixth
in.
graders
Yeah.
to watch the OJ verdict
because the
That's insane.
teachers had to,
The
and there was
teachers
no
cared.
way
Yes,
they couldn't
Miss- Miss
pretend
Tendai
it was
needed
going
to
to
know.
be helpful.
Oh
to
my
us.
God! I remember all the black kids were happy and all the white kids were sad.
I was happy.
Because we went
I
to
don't know
schools.
why.
We had a lot of
Half
kids
and
from
half.
the city. And also, from the county, but mostly from the city. And I remember just how divided it was. And it was not, it was such a, man. Do you remember the ESPN OJ documentary? Did you ever see that?
Probably.
Oh,
I don't know if it's
so
ESPN.
good. When there was an OJ resurgence of like the OJ show, the True American Crime Story that was happening, and then also the ESPN
at the
documentary.
same
I think
time.
Brian, you came over and watched that with us.
An Emmy.
2016, 17. That was
That was the
15.
best
That was
time
the
of my
best time
life.
of TV
It
ever.
was so good.
All right, we gotta go. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Come see me this weekend in Chicago. I cannot wait. There are tons of shows. San Francisco is being announced. October 20th added a second show. So I'll see you in San Francisco as well. Anya will be there. Special guest as well. New, I'm saying as well a lot. Like that girl that was like, and the maps and the Iraq as well. And new merch. So excited about that. Thank you for listening to the show. Don't be cut and
John Bonet.